Welcome, fellow aviators. I'm TJ, a certified flight instructor, and I want to personally welcome those of you striving for the next step in your aviation journey to this comprehensive professional explainer on FAA Form 8710-1. You're pilots who are taking this lesson to take your skills and your career to the next absolute level. And as you already know, in aviation, the paperwork carries just as much weight as your stick and rudder skills. Today, we're going to break down the Airman Certificate and/or rating application with absolute precision. Consider this your complete flight plan to certification. Let's get started. Here's our official flight plan for this briefing. We'll be systematically covering the Form 8710-1 disclosures, the application information essentials, the basis of your certificate, the record of pilot time, and finally, the final certification and submission. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Form 8710-1 Disclosures. Think of this as the legal foundation of your entire application. Okay, let's dive into the legal framework here before we even think about filling out a single box. The information you provide on this form actually becomes part of the Privacy Act system of records. It's known officially as DOT/FAA 847, titled Aviation Records on Individuals. So what does that actually mean for us in the real world? Well, it means your basic airman certification information, things like the types of certificates you hold, your medical class, and even your home address, unless you actively request to have it withheld, can be provided to the public. Beyond that, this data is readily accessible to the NTSB during investigations, not to mention federal, state, local, and tribal law enforcement agencies. But here is the absolutely crucial part. Submitting this form triggers a formal investigation into your qualifications by the FAA administrator. Under the Pilot's Bill of Rights, you are given written notification that literally any response you provide to an inquiry by an FAA representative can and absolutely may be used as evidence against you. The gravity here is absolute, folks. Honesty and accuracy are completely non-negotiable.
Now, the Paperwork Reduction Act estimates that it's going to take about 30 minutes to complete this form. I want you to consider that an expectation for a thorough, unhurried process. As we all know from experience, the FAA isn't exactly famous for its sense of humor regarding administrative errors. So please, do not rush this. 30 minutes of focused attention ensures you avoid the kind of silly mistakes that could delay the issuance of your temporary certificate. Take your time, get it right the first time.
Moving right along, we arrive at Section I, Application Information Essentials. This is all about verifying the pilot's identity. Let's break this down block by block. Starting in Block A, you're going to enter your full legal name, last, first, and middle. Now, if your name happens to be quite long and exceeds the 50-character limit, just use no more than one middle name for the official record. What if you don't have a middle name at all? Simply write NMN. Got a middle initial only? Just write out initial only. It sounds basic, but you have to be precise. Block B asks for your 9-digit U.S. Social Security number. Now, this is technically optional. You can enter do not use, or if you aren't a U.S. citizen, you'd put none. For Block C, your date of birth, you need to use the 8-digit format, a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and a 4-digit year. Check this for absolute accuracy and verify that it perfectly matches your medical certificate. I've seen it happen. A mismatch right here will cause the system to reject your application outright. And in Block D, place of birth. If you were born in the U.S., enter the city and state. If the city is unknown, put the county and state. Born outside the U.S., enter the city and the country. Pay close attention to the critical distinction here between your residential and mailing addresses. Block E1 is your residential address. It has to be your actual physical location, street number, city, state, zip code, and country if it's foreign. If a physical street address literally doesn't exist for your residence, you are required to attach a map or written directions right to the application. Then we have Block E2, which is your mailing address. This one can be a P.O. box, a rural route, a flight school, or a commercial drop. But here is the vital takeaway, the thing you really need to remember. Whatever goes into Block E2 is exactly what will be printed on your permanent plastic airman certificate, so choose it wisely. For Block F, which covers citizenship and nationality, it's pretty straightforward. Mark USA if you're a legal or naturalized citizen. If not, mark Other and clearly specify the country. Now, for any pilots claiming dual citizenship, you can't just check a box and call it a day. You must present appropriate official documentation of citizenship for every single country you're claiming. Block G asks a very fundamental question. Do you read, speak, write, and understand the English language? As professional aviators, we all know English is the international language of the sky. If you have to mark no to this question and it is strictly due to a documented medical reason, Just know that a specific operating limitation is going to be permanently placed on your Airman Certificate. Now, keeping the bureaucratic data squeaky clean and precise is the name of the game for Blocks H and I. For height, you enter it in whole inches, no fractions whatsoever. So if you're 5'8", you do the math and enter 68 inches. It's the exact same story for weight. Enter it in whole pounds. Again, leave the fractions out of it. Let's breeze through the rest of the physical identifiers. Blocks J and K spell out your hair and eye color completely. No abbreviations allowed. You have to choose from the approved lists, so for example, hair can be bald, black, blonde, brown, gray, red, or white. If you wear a hairpiece, you actually need to enter the color of your natural hair underneath. Block L is your sex, male or female. Now, Block M asks if you hold or have ever held an FAA pilot certificate. Do not forget this. A student pilot certificate absolutely counts as an FAA pilot certificate here. Enter the grade, your certificate number, and the date it was last issued. However, do not enter flight instructor certificate info in this specific block. Block N covers your medical certificate, so you'll enter the class, first, second, or third, the examiner's name, and the date it was issued. All right, Block O requires your absolute undivided attention. This deals with narcotic drugs. You must read this carefully. You only mark yes if you have actually been convicted of a violation of federal or state statutes relating to narcotic drugs, marijuana, or depressant or stimulant substances. If you've been charged but not adjudicated, the answer is no. If you do mark yes, Block 01 requires the date of final conviction. And here's a massive point of confusion. Do not include alcohol offenses involving a motor vehicle in this block. Those belong over on your FAA Form 8500-8 medical application, not here. All right, let's transition over to Section 2, Basis of your certificate. This outlines the regulatory pathway you're taking. For the vast majority of you advancing your careers today, Block A, completion of required tests, is your path. You must enter the exact make and model of each aircraft used. If you're using a flight simulation training device, an FSTD, you have to indicate the specific level of the device. You'll also log your total time and your piloting command time in that specific aircraft or approved simulator. Now, if you're a graduate of an approved course over in Block C, you need the name, location, and certification number of the training center exactly as it's shown on your graduation certificate, making sure to note if it was a Part 142 center. You also have to detail the curriculum level, category, and type rating. For Block D, holders of a foreign license, you must list the issuing country, the grade of the foreign license, its number, and this is key, only the exact FAA equivalent ratings that appear on it. Block B caters to our military aviators who are utilizing the U.S. military competence or experience pathway. Here, you'll enter your branch of service, the date you were rated as a U.S. military pilot, and your rank or grade. In Blocks 4A and 4B, you must list the make and model of each military aircraft in which you've logged pilot time, provided flight instruction as an IP, or passed an instrument proficiency check. Block E covers the Air Carrier Training Program option. If this happens to be your pathway, you'll need to specify the air carrier's name, the date the training program actually began, and explicitly identify the type of program you accomplished by checking the appropriate box for initial, upgrade, transition, or recurrent training. Moving straight into Section 3, Record of Pilot Time. It's time to crack open that logbook. The FAA categorizes your experience in a very, very specific way. Because if there's one thing the administration loves, it's a highly detailed, perfectly populated grid. At a bare minimum, you must complete the blocks applicable to the certificate or rating you are seeking today, though honestly, the FAA recommends entering all your pilot time. And hey, if you use decimal points, make sure they are highly legible so there's no confusion. The most critical instruction on this whole grid is regarding class totals. The time entered in the class totals block must perfectly reflect the time in the aircraft class for the specific certificate or rating you are applying for. Furthermore, time entered for full flight simulators, flight training devices, and aviation training devices may be credited towards your total category, class, and instrument time exactly as permitted by the regulations. Make sure your math is tight here. And we're on final approach now with Sections 4 and 5, Final Certification and Submission. Treat this like your final checklist before takeoff. Section 4 asks a very direct, pointed question. Have you previously failed a practical test for the certificate or rating for which you are applying? Mark yes or no appropriately. If you mark yes, you must provide the exact date of your last disapproval. Absolute honesty here is paramount. Remember, the FAA already has the records, so this is testing your integrity just as much as your memory. Section 5 is the applicant certification. By signing on the dotted line, you are legally certifying this statement. I certify that all statements and answers provided by me on this application form are complete and true to the best of my knowledge, and I agree that they are to be considered as part of the basis for issuance of any FAA certificate to me. Your signature here also legally acknowledges your receipt of the Pilot's Bill of Rights written notification and your full understanding of the Privacy Act statement. Once signed and dated, your part of the form is officially done. But the form isn't fully finished. The bottom and the entire reverse section of the form belong to the evaluators. This includes the instructor's action, where your CFI signs off that they have personally instructed you and consider you genuinely ready for the test. It also includes the designated examiner or aviation safety inspector reports, where they document the duration of your ground, simulator, and flight tests, and ultimately check the box to either approve and issue your temporary certificate or issue a disapproval notice. Before you even think about walking into that testing room, ensure you have the vital attachments required for submission organized and ready. Depending on your specific pathway, this might include bringing a copy of your student pilot certificate, an official college transcript, an ATP-CTP graduation certificate, and of course, your knowledge test report. You absolutely must also present a valid airman's identification. A U.S. driver's license or a passport is highly recommended. And double check that the expiration date is strictly valid, no expired IDs allowed. All right, fellow aviators, your paperwork is tight, it's accurate, and it's legally sound. The bureaucracy is officially behind you. Form 8710-1 is complete. So, what does this all mean for you now? The only question remaining is, are you ready to step into that cockpit, demonstrate your professional mastery, and completely ace that practical test? I'm TH, and I wish you clear skies and a flawless check ride. Fly safe.